your fingers are literally inside of me and you're asking me to be your mentor. Do you not see the problem?
Hey guys, I'm Amber.
And I'm Takiya.
Welcome back to the Table Read, where we chat all things film and TV. After 2 long years, Bridgerton Season 4 Part 1 is finally here. Do you think it lived up to the hype?
I think yes, but in probably a way that people wouldn't expect.
Okay.
So everyone was obviously watching for mostly Benedict and Sophie, but Violet was kind of ooh.
I love that she's finally getting her own love story because, she lost her husband and she's been kind of holding on to that. So to kind of see her finally let free is so nice.
I know. I feel like Daphne kind of helped her in a way, even though we didn't see that part. Like, I just think from Daphne getting married and kind of really taking that step forward, it kind of inspired her in a way. But also, she's realizing that all of her kids are going to be out of the house soon. So she's like, well, now what?
You watched Bridgerton all the way through more recently than I have because I watched it. I think it came out during COVID. So that's the last time I watched season 1 was 5 years ago. So you watching it all the way through from the last 2 months you've been watching it?
Yeah.
So you watching it from the past 2 months and kind of basically going straight from season 3 into season 4, do you think the momentum was still there?
Yes and no. I think it's kind of hard to say because every season is so different. Every season, it's about a different character. And so it's kind of hard to compare it, like all of them together within the beginning and the plot and how it kind of is cohesive. But I think for the most part, the momentum was there, but in a different way, if that makes sense.
I was kind of unsure about this season because Benedict is my least favorite Bridgerton. So I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to like this season or I was going to just find myself skipping through to the characters that I do like, this is nothing about Luke Thompson. I adore him.
Guys, it's
But
just he's a man.
what?
It's because he's a man.
Okay. You got me there. You got me there. But I love the actor. It's just Benedict himself. I'm just not as interested as I am the other characters. So I was kind of unsure, but I'm honestly really enjoying his storyline.
Me too. I honestly, the past 3 seasons, I really did not pay attention to him at all. And
Right.
I don't know if it's because I have to pay attention to him now or just because, it's just his season. I don't know, but he's growing on me. I care. I,
Yeah.
care.
I will say, though, in season 3, it was kind of hard for me because I can't remember her name, but the blonde girl that he was with, and then he broke
mean
things off
one?
with her. The what?
Was she mean? Oh.
Yeah, she was kind of feisty.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name, but I liked them. And so then I was going into season 4, I was unsure if I was going to be able to like him with someone else again, but I love Sophie.
I love her too. I feel like she's like a girly pop, but also she will beat your ass if she has to, I feel like.
I think that's why her and Eloise get along so great.
Wait, I'm so excited to watch that friendship grow. Obviously, in this part, we didn't really see much of it. I mean, they bonded over a little bit, like books and stuff, but I hope in part 2 we get to see them bond even more.
I know that this storyline supposedly is following the books more closely than past storylines. And I know you were telling me, actually, which I didn't know this about the book, but apparently in the books, there's a 2-year time jump between the ball and whenever he finds her again.
Yeah, I didn't know either. It came up on my TikTok the other day. Apparently, there's a 2-year time jump between the ball and the second time they kind of reconnect again. And someone commented and said that the only reason they noticed was because of Eloise's hair.
Mm.
She had a bob during the ball. And then if you notice, the scenes after that, her hair was longer.
Yeah, but the only thing that makes me suspicious about them not doing the time jump in the show is because do you remember how Lady Danbury was trying to go visit her family?
Oh, yeah.
And the queen was mad at her? She was still mad. So I was like, that's only because at first when you told me, I was like, okay, maybe there was a 2-year time jump because it wasn't making sense to me how Benedict didn't recognize Sophie.
Right.
And you spent all this time, you spent all this time drawing her and looking at people's mouths, and then you do find her, and suddenly you're just it's not clicking. So I was like, okay, that makes sense because after 2 years, your memory gets hazy. But then I would see scenes of Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte, and they were still having a tiff. So I'm like, I don't know that they did the time jump. Because I was also like, damn, Sophie found a job fast.
Right.
I need that luck.
No, literally.
She went from working with her evil stepmother and, like, the Cinderella storyline and then had a job.
Speaking of the Cinderella storyline, someone another TikTok came up on my For You page and was like, "Not Bridgerton copying, like, the entire Cinderella storyline," which at first I was like, "There's no way they copied it," but then I actually started watching it and I was like, "Wait, the glove, like, the
Mhm.
clock, you have to be back by this time, like, not n" It's like, "You know what?"
I didn't even think about the clock
Mhm.
striking midnight things, and it's so funny because, like, I was watching it and, there's Poppy who's, like, the less mean sister. She's not mean at all. She's very, like, wants to be friends with Sophie, and was that a thing in Cinderella? Did they have was, like, one of the stepsisters less evil, or were they both just
Not
terrible?
that I know of, at least not in, like, like, the classic, not that I
Mhm,
know of, but in the one with Selena Gomez, one of the sisters was, like, kind of ditzy and more friendly, but she
mhm.
followed the other sister's footsteps, so that's why she was mean.
Is that the one with the song that's like, tell me something that
Yes.
doesn't" I love that song. I don't remember that being the Cinderella movie. I
The
haven't watched it in
dance,
so
the
long.
dance. The
Oh my gosh, with Juicy Lee,
Yes!
with the mirror. Yes, how could I forget?
I love that movie so much. Honestly, one of my favorite movies now that I think about it. Obviously, Bridgerton is known to like split their seasons in half. Do you think that splitting in part one and part two helps, or does it kind of hinder the storyline or like the plot or anything like that? Maybe the audience.
Uh, I will say, like, as someone who likes to just sit and binge one full season, it is kind of, like, frustrating, but from a marketing standpoint and, like, getting that engagement, I kind of understand it because it brings you back whenever it comes out, like, a month like, it's coming out February I think it's February 26th, so, like,
Yes, right
basically a month later.
on.
Yeah, so, like, I get it from the industry standpoint, but as someone who just wants to sit, in one sitting and watch it, it's kind of like, ugh. Because I have a really bad memory, so, like, I've already kind of forgotten what I watched, to be completely honest. But also, I guess it's, like, nice to have something to look forward to because you when you watch something in one sitting, like, shows like Bridgerton take 2 years to come out with another season. So, at the rate that they're going, I'm gonna be, like, 35 by the time the show's done. Um, but I don't know. I guess both, like, I wish I could just watch it in one, but also it's nice to have something to look forward to.
I feel like if it was any other show, I would be like, "Okay, now, like, there's no point, I'm gonna lose interest." But
Mhm.
I think because we know there's a hot new couple coming in part 2 that's kind of what everyone's holding on to, at least I'm holding on to it, so it's making me even more excited for part 2.
Are you talking about Francesca and Michaela? Which it's so funny because I am not sure the order of the books, but it's everyone's, like, banking on Eloise for season 5, and me, like, I am banking on Eloise for season 5, but we haven't even got anything. I know in Eloise, her books, the story kinda plays out by she is essentially a pen pal with Philip, and they, like, write letters, and that's kind of their way of, like, falling in love, I guess, is, like, through the letters, but we haven't seen any of that in season 4 so far. But I feel like I know with Francesca and John, there's a, like, infertility kind of plot where Francesca can't get pregnant, and John spoiler for those of you who are watching the show or haven't read the books and just wanna see how it plays out, but John ends up dying, and that's kind of when her and Michaela, Michael in the books, Francesca and Michaela, fall in love. So I'm kind of the way they're setting things up, I'm like, is Francesca gonna be season 5? Because I feel like a lot more of her storyline is being played into season 4 than so far what Eloise's is, even though Eloise is still kind of toying with the idea of, like, being put on the market, being put on the shelf, like, she's unsure, whereas Francesca's plotline is kind of speeding up, so I'm like, I don't know, I feel like it could be a toss-up.
I don't know, I feel like as much as I would love to see Francesca's storyline play out for season 5, I need Eloise.
Same.
Like, I have to because I was watching I think it was an interview it was either an interview clip that I saw or maybe another TikTok of a random person that I saw, but they were like, "Eloise is relatable because she's someone who's not, like, eager to get married," and I was like, I felt that, and she also just doesn't she seems to not really, like, have a sole preference, like, she doesn't label herself or anything.
Exactly.
Kind of like I was kinda like, "Yeah," and I really wanna see that play out within the whole, like, Bridgerton world in general because obviously it's not like our world, it's very
Mhm.
different, and I just think it would be so cool, and I even though I've only been watching the past 2 months, it feels like I've been waiting a lifetime for her season, but I think it's just because you've been waiting a lifetime for her season.
I have been rallying for her season since, like, season 2, because when it first started, I wasn't, like, really aware that it was a different sibling thing, and then by season 2, I realized, like, oh, it follows each Bridgerton sibling, and by then I was like, "Okay, where's Eloise?"
Course, yeah.
But kind of like you were saying, Eloise is such a relatable character because she out of all the siblings well, I guess Benedict too, but she really just doesn't care about marriage, and she's never been one that's, like, wanting to, find a suitor, and she's just kind of enjoying her life and being her own person, and I feel like that's very nice for people today to even see, kind of like I mean, me and you were kinda the same way, like, we don't marriage isn't really something that we're just like, relationships aren't on our front runner, we just don't care,
No,
and I feel like there's, like, this pressure in, like, so many families, like, you're going to grow up, you're gonna find a boyfriend, and you're gonna get married
and have kids.
and have kids, and, like, that's your sole purpose, and I'm like, "That's just not me." It's nice seeing Eloise in that way because it's not like you're uninterested in people, you just that's just not what you want.
It's not your priority, like, your priority
Yeah.
is yourself, is your career, like, we are so determined to be where we wanna be in our careers that we're just like, "Okay, relationships can be put on the back burner. If it happens,
Mhm,
great. If it doesn't, okay." Like, at least we'll because we know that we will somewhat always have our career. It may be
mhm.
different fields every now and then, but we will always have our career. There's no guarantee you're gonna always have your husband.
I can't focus on anything else because I just so badly want to get my footing into what I wanna do, and also, my friendships I treat, like, my friendships as my relationships,
Yeah.
in a less, like, in a
Romantic
more
way.
yeah, in a more, like, platonic way. Like, I really value my friendship, so it's like, I already have my energy there. As soon as I get my career settled and I'm, like, set and doing what I wanna do, okay, I'll talk. We'll figure something out, but right now, I am Eloise Bridgerton.
I am also Eloise Bridgerton through and through. Like, if it happens, it happens, and if it's happening for you, great. I will support you from right here.
Do you think that part 1 was a complete arc, or do you feel like it's kind of just setting up for part 2?
It's kind of an arc arc
Arch.
because in my mind, part 2 is gonna be so different from part 1. Like, yeah, we're still gonna have Benedict and Sophie, and it's gonna be focused on them, but we're also gonna have Francesca and Michaela, and I think a lot of the focus is gonna also go on them. Also, I think there's gonna be more excitement. Like, I don't know, I just think part 2 is gonna be so good. I think part 2 is gonna be, like, one of the best parts of the entire series, especially because season 4 and also I think season 1 have been the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I know it's 4, I can't remember which other season, but 4 is definitely up there.
I do feel like season 1 and season 4 are very similar in their
Mhm.
ways. I don't know why Sophie and Simon kind of remind me of each other. Like I said, it's been a while since I watched season 1, but they just feel like as unworthy of having a Bridgerton. And maybe that's why. Maybe it's because the seasons feel sort of identical.
Yeah, they are really cohesive in a way. I never thought about Sophie feeling like Simon and not feeling worthy, which
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense, and I guess now that I think about it, where Sophie comes from, like, obviously her dad dies, and then she's forced to be a maid for her step-siblings and her stepmom, like, I get it. They have basically instilled in her brain that she's unworthy, and then when her stepmom's like, "Yeah, no, you're not written in the will, girl." Like, of course
Which I think is a lie.
I also think it's a lie. It has to be a lie. There's no way her own dad
He
didn't write her in his will.
he loved her. Like, you could tell even in the flashback scenes, like, obviously a part of him was like, "Okay, I can't really claim you in a way," but you could see the love was there, and so she's lying. I feel like there's gonna be some sort of plot twist apart from the will. I do think she definitely is in the will and the stepmom is lying, but I feel like there's some other plot twist about her
Her
family
mom.
that's gonna come to light, yeah.
Honestly, I could see it, but also maybe, like, because they're moving in next to the Bridgertons. What if, like, they move in and then somehow Sophie's mom is just, like just comes about?
It's following closely to the book, but I know a lot of times shows also, like, they have to change things up a little bit, like the Francesca and Michaela thing, which people are outraged, whatever, I don't care. I'm living for it.
Me too.
Because how are you gonna have all these children and not one of them, like, them all be straight, like, come
Right,
on.
like, someone has to be just a little fruity.
I understand the whole, like, class thing and because she's not of a higher status, that's technically the term, is like she would be his mistress, but I would be so offended if a man asked me to be his mistress.
It would have earned a slap in the face, a punch in the face, a kick to the balls.
I saw somebody say that she wasn't offended that he asked that. She was almost like taken back because she felt like her mom. But after they got it on the staircase and he did his little two-finger
Mind
thing,
you,
I said, and then, like, they had their steamy moment, and then he asked her that. I'd be like, "You really got me, like, riled up just to ask me to be your mistress."
your fingers are literally inside of me and you're asking me to be your mistress. Do
That
you not see the problem?
also, I'm loving the press this season. Urine is so funny.
They are bro, the press literally, I don't think I've seen one interview that hasn't been funny or, like, just, like, in depth so far.
That's another reason I really want Eloise for season 5 is because Claudia might be the funniest person on the internet, honestly. Like, she's very off social media, but when she does press, that's the only time we really see her because she is so, like, no social media.
Honestly, I applaud her for that. I wish I could be like that.
But she's very, like, she shops secondhand, she thrifts, she'll, like, re-wear stuff on red carpets, she's very involved in, like, what's going on, an activist.
I'm honestly only just now getting to know Claudia as an actress and, like, as a person in general, but it feels like I've known about her for forever, but it's probably because you talk about her all the time.
Do you remember the show House of Anubis?
Yes.
I watched it, that was, like, my first binge show, she was in that,
I
and obviously, I watched it whenever I was, like, 11, so I don't remember, but I was, like, looking, and then, like, once I actually saw her, I was like, "Oh my god," like, I briefly remember her being in the episodes. That's not me saying, like, "Oh my god, I've been a Claudia Jessie fan since I was 11," but, like, it's just crazy how I watched her then, and now she's in Bridgerton, and I'm obsessed with her. In part 2, there is a clip from the trailer of Lady Bridgerton, and she's dressed in all black, hinting at a funeral. So, who do we think is dying?
It has to be someone we haven't seen in a while, in my opinion.
So here's where it comes into the whole Francesca setup. Is it John?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, if it is John, I feel like Francesca will be season 5.
He dies in the book.
Yeah, he dies apparently as soon as he says something about his head hurting. No, it's a wrap. And then also there's the talk, how like Lady Danbury's trying to leave. So I'm like, is it gonna be her? Like, is she sick and that's why she's trying to go home?
That will make me so mad. I'm not even gonna lie. That will
Yeah.
actually make me so mad.
I love her.
I love her too.
Or it's the queen's husband.
Well, yeah, he's been on his deathbed for a while.
For a while, he's holding strong.
He is holding so strong to that 1%. I'm starting to think it's the queen's husband.
I'm really hoping it's not John because I want Eloise for season 5. Also, we haven't seen anything about Eloise. Like, she hasn't got any letters.
I feel like we haven't seen her a lot in part 1. Like, I'm trying to think back, and I'm like, I only remember a handful of scenes.
We are starting to see a lot more Hyacinth, though,
Yeah.
now that she's getting older.
Which I love.
I know there's, like, a lot of talk about when it comes to her season, like, recasting, and I'm like, I don't think you should recast her.
No, me
You
neither.
know, I would be so mad if I spent all this time playing a character just for it to get to my season and get recast because people still view me as a child.
That's literally not her problem. That's a
No.
slap in the face.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, she did start as a child, but by the time it's her season, she's gonna be, like, in her mid-20s. So, let the girl do her thing.
So, I finished season 3 about, like, a week and a half or so
Mhm,
before season 4 came out, and I don't know how, but I had literally forgot Penelope had a whole kid.
mhm.
Like, when I started season 4, I was like, "What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
what happened?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait." No, my memory got shot.
Also, don't know if I just missed this in season 3. I didn't know that they made everyone aware that she was Lady Whistledown.
Me neither.
And then suddenly the whole ton knew. I kind of wish there would have been, like, a scene of them in season 4 telling, like, maybe the whole Bridgerton family finds out. I really did love the whole mystery of, like, who Lady Whistledown was, and, like, I loved the riff between Eloise and Penelope. But, I wish there would have been a scene of, like, the whole family finding out.
Penelope, she's an Energizer bunny.
They be getting it on in those
We
carriages.
be getting it on.
I'm like,
Like,
"Why do y'all only get turned on in the carriage?"
before ice cream, That's crazy.
And also, like, I just think about the people, like, that are driving the carriages, like, with the horses, and, like, they're trying to drive and the carriage is just, like, going back and forth.
Wait, and you know, it's not soundproof. Come on.
No!
No shame.
But you know what? I respect it.
I respect it too. You gotta, hey, do it. Go for it.
At least she's not like Francesca and having to fake an orgasm.
My God, wait. Speaking of that scene, when she started like moaning John's name, I lost it. Lost it. I was somehow laughing and also having such secondhand embarrassment.
It
Like,
was at first I was like, "Good for her, she's finally feeling something," and then it just, like, kept going, and I was like, "Francesca, you don't gotta do that for a man, baby."
she was, or he was like, John was like, what are you doing?
He was getting secondhand embarrassment from it. I was like, "This is so bad."
But also, it was bittersweet and really wholesome because it opened up the conversation, which is nice.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, "She loves this man, but she is not into this man."
He is not into that man.
Because as soon as Michaela showed up, she was like,
Pupils blown. The way that she was like trying to ask her mom about it and ask like other people about it, and the way it was so funny because the way they try to describe it is just like, so this and then that and then that and then this and then yeah.
one person that I am hoping to see in part 2 that we haven't seen in part 1 is Cressida. Okay, look, I know that she ended iffy on season 3, but I feel bad. Like, I do feel bad for her. She just wants to be loved, and her family is a pile of shit. And I would like to see her come back and her and Eloise see how their interaction would be because they were close in season 3 until they weren't.
I'd need Eloise to like whip her back into shape.
Okay, valid.
Like she can't just like waltz in
Mm-hmm.
and just be there. Like I need Eloise to be like, yo bitch, like something.
Right.
To end this episode, we're gonna do a Bridgerton spicy this or that. So, Amber, do you prefer a slow burn or instant chaos?
I definitely feel like instant chaos is more fun.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a slow burn can be too slow. But with instant chaos, it's like you're fighting, then you're fucking. So
I love instant chaos, but I also love, I feel like it depends. In a movie or TV show, I love instant chaos. In a book, I kind of like the slow burn, but it can't be too slow because then I'll lose interest real fast.
in the Vampire Diaries, Damon and Elena, the slow burn, like it was so good. But I'm reading the Twilight books right now. I'm reading Breaking Dawn, and it just took until Breaking Dawn, which I'm sure it's the same in the movies, but I literally have no recollection of watching the movies. It just took to the last book for Edward and Bella to get it on. Stolen glances or dramatic declarations?
Stolen glances. I feel like stolen glances are actually really spicy. Like no, seriously.
Yeah.
Over and you're just kind of smirking and then they look over but you look away real fast and then you think they look away but then so you look back and they're actually looking at you. Like
And then you lock eyes.
come on. Yearning looks or bold moves?
Both? Can I say both? I can't say both. Depends on the couple, I guess.
Well,
Because there's some that I'm like, the tension is so high that I'm like, just do it already. But then there's some where I'm like, it's sweet. Emotional intimacy or scandal first?
I don't know. Well, okay. Because I'm like such an emotional person in general and I'm a huge empath, like emotional intimacy. Like for sure. Come on now. Imagine trauma bonding and then like fucking or something. Like, come on. Mutual pining or one person down bad?
I think the one person down bad because it always leads into a mutual thing. Like it always takes the other person a while. Kind of like whenever that one person is like really into this other person and the other person doesn't really care at first. And then they start to realize like, I like this person. And then it leads to a great bond.
I just watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and I feel like mutual pining for sure because at first they both like pretend to like each other and then they both kind of fall in love at the same time. Like, I don't know. It's so romantic. Like, come on.
That is all for our Bridgerton Season 4 Part 1 recap. Come back at the end of the month to catch our Part 2 recap.
And if you're interested in watching Bridgerton, you can find seasons 1 through 4 on Netflix, and you can find Part 2 coming out on February 26th. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode.
Be sure to come back next week and follow our socials to stay up to date on guests and other fun things.